And welcome to the Dad La Soul sessions. It is Thursday, the 5th of June, 2025. I'd been on air a minute earlier at the exact time of 8:30, but the computer system that we use kept going, no, you say you're going on air at 8:30 on LinkedIn. You can't do that because it's not 8:30, even though it was definitely 8:30. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We're here. We're not quite on LinkedIn at the moment. I'll sort that out in a minute. I mean, sorry, the massive production team that we have here at Dad La Soul will sort that out in a minute. Anyway, this is what is coming up on today's show in the true This Morning style. This is one of my favorite bits of the whole Dad La Soul sessions, this really. So coming up, we've got the Dad La Soul update with Dan Flanagan very soon. That's coming up next. After that, about 8:45, you've got Not a Band. There are a bunch of dads. They play TV themes, memes, and more. And then at 9 p.m., you've got Phil Hart, who's a dad who took his kids on a journey from the preliminary rounds of the FA Cup to every round, following the team that won and eventually made it to the final as well. And he's got a fascinating story to tell about that journey with his boys. A brilliant father and son's trip around the country to go and see a load of football of varying quality. But first of all, because, you know, we have to contractually. First of all, this is an interview that I did with our Dan Flanagan, leader of Dad La Soul, earlier here today. On the Dad La Soul sessions, we always like to give a leg up to the little guy. So I thought that we'd let Dan come on and have a little bit of a chat about some Dad La Soul stuff. How's that, Dad? Are you all right?
No, and no, I am frazzled.
Is that because you tried to put on a big festival of fatherhood in not many days?
Yeah, because I'm an idiot. I think that is the definition. Somebody goes, oh, yeah, do you want to do the Amex Stadium event? Yeah, of course I do. When? 6 weeks' time. Yeah, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
No barrier, no space for if anything goes wrong. No buffer zone.
Well,
so if something drops or somebody isn't able to fulfill a certain part of something by a certain deadline, it affects everything else. So that means my weekends, my late nights, trying to sort it out, and I am knackered.
And or you're going to have to do it yourself. So, you better hope no one too specialist drops out, because
no, that's fine. I've got no issue with the amazing acts. So you've got the Not a Band guys who are going to be leading a rebel round. Benjamin Phillips. We've got Brighton's oldest Punch and Judy man, who the lovely Glyn. He's been probably doing Punch and Judy for nigh on 70 years.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. He knows what he's doing, right?
Yes, but we've worked with him a couple of times previously, and it doesn't matter what age you are. Suddenly he can hold a crowd, and these two puppets, which are essentially hundreds of years old, can hold a crowd as well. So you get the dads and kids actually sitting cross-legged, laughing at stupid jokes that probably you haven't heard in 30 years.
That's it, because I've seen the clips, the videos. I know a couple of times that we've had the Punch and Judy, they've done some little vox pops with the dads and the kids there, and all of them, absolutely all of them, just went, "Oh, Punch and Judy was the highlight. Absolutely loved it. Wasn't expecting it. Didn't really think it was something that I'd enjoy. Absolutely loved it." And the kids loved it as well. And like the parents, it's a competition to see whether the parents like it more than the children, because both absolutely adore it.
Because it's one of those things, a bit like the lovely tradition of Panto. They always sneak in a couple of jokes for the grown-ups. So there's football competitions, the Dad Olympics we're working on. So a number of challenges for the dads and the kids, and then dads versus kids, maybe some sort of relay thing. It's good. It's in, where are we now? This is Thursday the 5th, and we are countdown to 9 days.
Yeah.
So don't expect to see or hear from me in 10 days.
No, exactly. I think, putting your feet up with a brew in front of the telly would be well deserved after that.
Yes, but what a magical way to celebrate. We're 8 years old now. We've seen some amazing highs. We've seen some pretty challenging lows as well. But we seem to be building up a really nice head of steam over the last couple of months. So we've got some other exciting news to share about new locations, but more of that at another thing. Basically, when we just figure it out, let's go right. Got 4 locations. Which one do we do first? Because if it's left to me, I want to do all of them immediately by last Tuesday. Thankfully, I'm surrounded by actual grown-ups, and they say we cannot do that. So we're going to do this one first. Focus your intention there, Dan, and then you can go and play over there and there and there. So it's work in progress, but it's the funding's in place, and it'll be 4 new locations over, I'd say, the next 6 months or so. But that'll be really, really nice. So Saturday the 14th is the opportunity for all these different fellas and their kids to get together. Oh, right. Oh, you're from so-and-so. You're so-and-so. Oh, right. Okay. So when we launch over there as well, we've got a ready-made band of merry men.
And it's going to be one of those, like, it's Father's Day weekend, so you deserve to be treated if you're a dad or a stepdad or a granddad or a male carer of any kind. Then you make sure you get your tickets. Have a word maybe with your other half and see if that could be the Father's Day present, because that would make sense, right? A lot.
Absolutely. You could just buy the ticket and invoice them.
Yes.
Saving the trouble. Look, I've taken care of the dadmin.
Yeah.
I do not need another mug or a golf ball or socks. I used to buy my dad cigars when I was a kid.
Did you?
Yeah.
I went to the supermarket last night, and the Father's Day section was one of the most depressing things I have ever seen. It was just like awful socks, terrible slippers. Like, we do not need those things. They are not essential. Get out of it. Get a ticket for Live and Loud at the Amex Stadium in Brighton on the 14th of June and actually give the dad in your life and their kids an experience, an amazing 3 hours of fatherhood, funk and foolishness.
Indeed. Don't create more landfill. That's the bottom line. Those Father's Day gifts that you're looking at on those shelves at supermarket are probably made by children younger than yours.
Yeah. And it's just crazy, isn't it? We have a friend of ours is a professional organizer, and round Christmas, she is very much on the Secret Santa is the world's worst thing because it just creates waste to throw into landfill that, as you say, is possibly been created with forced labor with no human rights, sent over here, causing pollution, then just chucked away because someone just opens it, goes, huh. And then that's it. That's your joke. That's it. Done.
Yeah, this is... I didn't even want you. Do you actually even know me? I really like the sound of your friend, by the way. Is she available for interview? We should get her on.
Yeah.
How do you sort out admin?
She's she's really good. She knows what she's doing. But I think we should maybe at some point, maybe just after Christmas, perhaps we should get her on as an organizing helper to clear out the cobwebs and stuff after Christmas.
New year, new start. But that's fine for everybody else because I don't think I'll actually be alive on June the 15th. So that'll be somebody else's problem anyway.
Yeah, so no one needs to clear up. Well, someone else will need to clear up after you. You won't need to do it because you're...
Yeah, they'll just need to, hoover up my scattered ashes. God, I'm being miserable. I'm actually really excited, but I'm just slightly jaded and frustrated and performance anxiety, I think it's called.
It's like the Swan, though, isn't it? Because to everyone going, everyone who gets a ticket, it's going to be smooth along the water, but underneath, there's you like there with the legs pumping around, trying to get stuff going.
Did you say humping or pumping?
It doesn't matter either way, does it?
Well, it does. It gives a very different.
I said pumping.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. That's. I'm all about the pump. I would pump up the jam.
Because the other thing I think is actually treason, isn't it, with swans? Because they're owned by the king. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure.
Yes. You can, because you can't hurt swans. You can't cook them on a barbecue. Apparently.
No. That's a bit of a responsibility. I know there's a lot of responsibilities when you become the king, But
Yeah.
to suddenly like, oh, what? Now I own all the swans in Britain. It seems excessive. It seems like
Exactly. You've got somebody who looks after them, don't they? And they got proper official costumes. I'm sure I saw some sort of cost-cutting exercise where they interviewed like the Lord of the Swans, and he has to fill everything out on some parchment that's 900 years ago. Yes, we understand the history. Is this really practical that you're using a quill still on this? But people understand the history, the tradition. It should be protected. But when it costs, thousands of pounds for upkeep of a small piece of parchment so you can count how many swans are around, I question that when kids are going hungry.
I mean, it's possibly not your priority. if you were in charge of allocating the money, if you were doing the budget, you wouldn't go, hang on, before we look at feeding children, how much are we giving to the swans this year? Okay. Right.
Exactly. Actually, to be honest, I'd say F the swans. I've got beef with all kinds of birds. Short story. Got a beautiful white Fred Perry t-shirt. Absolutely love. Cost a few weeks pocket money. Right? Unfortunately, it got a little bit stained with suntan thing because obviously being a ginger kid, I need to go out with factor 60, even in force 9 snow. So then I went down the supermarket, got all the stain chuckers awayers that promise everything. No. Even after about 5 washes with Super Daz or whatever it is, nothing. What do? Okay, well I'll dye it. Okay, so got this lovely green dye, put it in the machine, came out, and actually afterwards it came out looking really nice. It looked like a proper green Fred Perry. I thought, I am the champion of sorting stuff out. Took that t-shirt out, hung it out to dry, came home after work. Look, there it was all nice and dry and fresh on the line. I think, yeah, I'm really clever. Pulled it up, turned around, huge part of bloody seagull shit all down the back of it.
Oh no, that is not right. On your Fred Perry.
Yeah, it's like they've been watching me, right? Stress for the last few weeks, and then so I was really annoyed. So then I've had to wash it again, and then the colours come out of it. So essentially now I'm going to have to chuck it away.
Oh no, this is a disaster. It's all a disaster.
Yeah. I mean, or have one of those gardening tops for a Sunday, that have got, it doesn't really matter, but I don't have a garden.
So this is it. You were doing the right thing, putting the sun cream on. You did a very clever thing to pivot and dye it. And then the seagull came along and just went, I'm going to ruin all this good work. And that is, I think you're right. Birds are evil. I think that's what we've decided.
Yeah, I think, actually, I'm being casually racist against seagulls. It could be pigeons as well.
Right.
But I'm just going on the amount of evidence.
Okay, yeah. Right.
It came from either several or pigeons or one lard ass seagull. And we got some pretty hardcore seagulls around it. There's actually one that walks into Greg's most mornings, literally walks, grabs something and fucked off. Sorry, my language, but
I mean, does it pay contactless? I don't know.
It does not. But nobody. It's like it's a bit of a standing joke now because that's it. But it's like, oh, I've had a result here.
And do you know what it should do as it walks out though? It should turn around and just go, put it on the bill.
That was. I don't have a little bit of me just died.
Yeah, good. That. I'm glad. I'm entirely glad about that. That's the reaction I want to any joke that I tell.
Well, that's it. That's Worthing, sea life, bird life, festival life. That's what's going on. Everything else, I don't know, is the brutally honest truth.
14th of June, link in description. Go and get tickets. That's what we're saying.
And check out the band that just coming on in a minute. They are wicked lads. Really, really. I just love their sense of nonsense.
Yep, absolutely. It's very fitting with Dad La Soul, that sense of nonsense. Really is.
Our highbrow intellectual way of conducting ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Said no one ever. Dan, thank you very much for giving it a go. Thank you for coming on. and trying. It's been really appreciated.
That'll be my epitaph. Well, he tried.
Dan Flanagan there, the Uberlord of Dadless Soul, chatting about mainly what we're doing is we're leading up in 9 days to this Live and Loud Festival of Fatherhood, 3 hours of fatherhood, funk and foolishness at the American Express Stadium, Brighton and Hove Albion, in the Terrace, which is the fan zone there, the Premier League's biggest fan zone. And one of the people playing there is the brilliant Not a Band, who I caught up with recently to have a little chat to. Hello, I am speaking to Matt and Jay from Not a Band. Hello, how are you doing?
Hello, we're good.
Now, you are going to come and play at our very exciting Live and Loud festival, and we're very excited to have you there. Me and Dan have been talking about this for a long time, having found your clips online. Please explain the background of Not a Band.
Oh, yeah, I will. So it's a very organic thing. Essentially, a group of friends. We're all dads. We all got together strictly for a musical jam, and our wives made us promise that we were definitely not a band. So we turned into Not a Band and became Not a Band.
Yep, and it's still not a band, if anyone asks.
Yeah, well, there you go. You've got the ultimate get out, haven't you? It's like when I went to university, we were at there was a pub called the Library. And we used to go there and say we're in the library, which is absolutely true.
Yeah, there you go. Correct. You're not even lying.
Yeah, it doesn't wash with them.
Fair enough.
Getting on a bit now. Yeah.
So you got together. So the idea was never to be like but it was just a little bit of fun, and now it's built.
No, it was huge. That's it. It sort of started off. Let's just have a jam for mates. And we started off just playing sort of funk tunes because that's sort of what we would naturally gravitate to as players. And somebody suggested play Airwolf, and it just went from there. And it was like, well, that's more fun than playing funk tunes. So what about A-Team? And then what about Knight Rider? And before you knew it, it became, let's just do 80s TV themes. We did do a bit of like live hip hop for a bit. And we did the first couple of gigs. We went out and did sort of 2/3 theme tunes, 1/3 live hip hop using the samples. And although the hip hop stuff would go down all right, as a concept, it was just a bit. People were like, well, why are you playing that now? You know, we're starting off with the A-Team theme, and then 20 minutes later playing sort of a Snoop Dogg sample or something. So it didn't really, although it was fun, it didn't really make any sense. And as soon as we sort of narrowed it down, I went, no, let's just do theme tunes. Which takes a while to put the set together because, of course, most theme tunes are like 1 minute, 2 minutes. And now we're at 90 minutes, although we do a lot more songs now. But yeah, it's been a lot of work. So I'm quite surprised we've sort of built it up over. It's only really been about a year. I think our first Instagram post was on April Fool's Day last year, which is quite appropriate.
And now
true too, yeah.
You're at the stage of playing like 90 minutes and, you're doing these shows all over the place. That is amazing, isn't it? Because, as you say, they're short theme tunes. It's like the Ramones. The Ramones, they'd be on for 20 minutes and they'd have done their entire back catalogue, B-side and everything, wouldn't they?
That's it. And the turning point that made it easy for us was when we decided to sing as well. Because when we started, it was just instrumentals, and you sort of run out of the big instrumentals, your A-Teams and your Knight Riders. And we always said, oh no, we won't get a singer and we won't sing. And we'd both done sort of backing vocals in bands but never sung lead. But it got to the point where I think we really wanted to do Minder, really wanted to do Only Fools and Horses, and they're kind of, they're not the hardest songs to sing. So that was quite an easy in. And then our confidence has sort of grown, and now, God help us, we're doing, I've had the time of my life and Baywatch, and it's very, I mean, to be honest, it's very ill-advised. I mean, I can't believe we're getting away with it.
Yeah, we essentially discovered that between us we have one good voice, but half a good voice each.
Yeah, but the numbers still add up, right?
That's what you need. That's all you need. Absolutely. And it's just like I love your Instagram feed. It's just like it's like a little piece of joy in amongst all the turbulence and chaos of the world. I first came across your work So Dan from Dad La Soul, I did a Yorkshire Fresh Prince parody that was fairly low key and slightly lame. And then Dan decided to show me your brilliant mashup of Fresh Prince and Grange Hill and make me feel completely useless and untalented.
You're over it now. You're all right.
Yeah, I mean,
Are you okay?
I barely dwell on it. Barely. But just to rub salt into those open wounds, let's have a listen to this.
West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where I spent most of my days. Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool and all shooting some b-ball outside of the school. Couple of guys who were up to no good started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight and my mom got scared and said, "You're moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air." Up to the house about 7 or 8 and I yelled to the cabbie, "Yo, home, smell you later." Looked at my kingdom, I was finally there.
What was that moment like when you worked out those two songs fit together pretty much perfectly?
I've been doing reasonably unsuccessfully. I had another Instagram channel called Return of the Mash, and I was doing sort of mashups. Well, that actually came out of a sort of lockdown project with me, where me and a load of other sort of musicians and engineers were just sending stupid remixes to each other, and it eventually became theme tune plus sort of hip hop a cappella. That became the recipe, and that was one of the better ones. So I think, I guess that probably came out of the idea when we were doing like the proper hip hop a cappella stuff, you know, the Snoop Dogg stuff before we just did theme tunes. I think that was one of the things that came out of it. Was like, well, this one's got a theme tune, so this one's good. I think it always raises a smile, but we have to be careful not to do it in sound check because it's kind of a surprise, because you do Grange Hill for a minute and then you change the visuals and then you go, here's the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. So it's kind of, well, we've ruined it now anyway for anybody coming, because they're going to see it now.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But honestly, it's funnier the second time. It's amazing. Yeah. It's so funny, isn't it? It's really funny.
To be fair, it is always brilliant. It's a real highlight of the set. It's like it was always like that. Yes. You know, that's the thing that gets me with it. It just sounds so like that was the theme tune to
yes.
You know, what do we call it? The Fresh Prince of Grange Hill.
The Fresh Prince of Grange Hill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It really was. It's intuitive, I believe, is the phrase there. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's good. So who, do you all sort of just bring along a new theme tune? Do you watch something? You're on one of those channels in the 200s or something that's still showing stuff from the 80s. Do you see something and just go, oh, we need to do this one as well? Is that how it works?
I think in the beginning, just to understand, go to type into YouTube 80s themes. I mean, we probably had 10, 15 in our head, Knight Rider, Airwolf, A-Team, the big ones from your childhood. But then it was the explore YouTube and
obsessive YouTube consumption of theme tunes.
Yes.
which
to the point of
nostalgic.
Illness.
Yeah. It still goes on now.
Yes.
And actually we've branched out into 80s adverts, which is even more fun.
Yes.
So it's amazing how things still pop up, or someone, actually loads and loads of people both online and at gigs come up to us and go, hey, how about this? And some of them are brilliant ideas, and we're like, yes, how did we miss that one?
Yeah, there have been ones we just like. And I think that's why the Instagram, the sort of that show reel, the Instagram was quite successful and got quite a lot of views and interaction, but because people without any just go, what about this? What about this? What about this? And it's a great leveler, isn't it, for people of our age? Everyone's got everyone's got an opinion on what makes a great theme tune and what is nostalgic for them and what reminds them of better times on the sofa, age 10.
Yeah, on the beanbag on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, exactly.
That sort of a thing.
And it's so lovely to have those brought to life as well by people who are clearly enjoying what they're doing and clearly, obviously, very talented as well, because, anyone could have had the idea. Not anyone could have pulled it off, though. I mean, not everyone could have done this amazing version of Toys R Us, right?
The magical place we're on our way there. Toys in the millions all over.
Say just.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
That's the first time we played that
Yes.
gig. And yeah, it's a highlight of the set already.
Yeah.
And it's the thing I look forward to the most. It's also a compositional masterpiece. And
Yes.
people might think that I'm joking. I'm not. It is in such a short amount of time. There's so much going on musically. It's genius. So yeah, that's my favorite actually at the moment.
Yeah. I think I'd probably agree.
That's the beauty, though, isn't it? Like, that's why these things stick in the memory, I guess, because they're really well written. They're not just thrown together. They maybe seem throwaway because they're just in an advert advertising, millions of Jeffreys or whatever it is. Never understood that as a kid. Still don't understand it nowadays.
It's because it's millions say.
It's millions said. It's millions said Jeffrey.
There's
Or millions
millions
says Jeffrey.
says-
But we all know it. We all hear it.
Yeah,
and
we
I
all
think
hear
we
it.
still sing it as there's millions of Jeffreys all under one roof.
Yeah.
It should be that.
And it should be that, and it is that.
Yeah,
It
we're
is that.
making it that.
I mean, that makes slightly more sense than the real version. I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, once again, that it's obviously these are great tunes, done very well. You looking forward to Live and Loud then, which is our big festival, June the 14th in Brighton, at the terrace at the Amex Stadium. 10 till 1, a festival of fatherhood, 3 hours of loads of stuff to do, including Not a Band on stage. You're not a band. We must reiterate, you are not a band.
Yeah. Please.
Yes, keep that. Yeah, no, we're massively looking
yes,
forward.
can't wait. I think that's going to be one of our biggest audiences to date. So it should be a really, really fun time. I think it's such playing to our demographic as well.
We were born to play this.
Yeah. It's downhill from
Our
that.
whole
No,
life
it is.
has been leading up to this one moment.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
to
like,
be there.
yeah.
To witness the triumph and then the inevitable downfall. No.
This sounds a little bit like your version of 8 Mile. This is the Not a Band
Yes.
8 Mile story. Yeah.
Yes, this is it. This is it. Yeah. Call and response, Toys R Us lyrics.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. It's gonna be.
That is the other thing. It's amazing how many people know the words to so many of these theme tunes. At the gig that you just referenced, the amount of singing along, we could probably have just not bothered singing for the whole gig because everyone was joining in on everything. So yeah, really good.
I mean, that is not the way to do it. Get very cross when I go to a gig and they go, "You sing." Like, no. Yeah.
Yes, but those are professional singers.
Yeah.
They don't need
Yeah.
help. So get angry with them, but with us, we need help.
All right. So the audience
many
in this
ways.
case is like your carers in this play. They're here.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, please help us.
Community service.
We
can
need them more than they need us.
We'll all get through it together. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a support group.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the support group of dads. The dads are in the bag, right? We know that this is very dad-friendly fodder. What about the kids?
Well, there might be one surprise if we get it ready in time that the kids will definitely know. So that's a new one, but I can't say any more because if the surprise is ruined or we don't get round to it, then.
But in addition to that, actually, the way that we built the set is, and it's been a lot of trial and error as well.
Yes.
Because a lot of things just cross all boundaries. Things like Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
Every
easy.
3 years old knows it up to 100.
Yeah.
And Gladiators is another one. I was in Tesco Express the other day, and there was like a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old going around going Gladiators, and I'm like, yeah, that's in.
Yeah,
So-
I think there's enough in there that will. I mean, my kids have come to one of the gigs and they know most of it, but maybe that's because they can hear these songs coming from my studio. So who knows?
Your YouTube algorithm just serves that right now, I'm sure.
Yeah, it does. So they'll go onto YouTube. It's just like, oh, here's the theme. Not the theme from the A-Team again, Dad. Yeah.
Although you did discover that the French version of the A-Team, they ruined it by putting lyrics all over it.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing. I encourage everybody to Google it,
to not listen to it all the way through, but for 10 seconds of
How they
amazement.
they took the one of the greatest theme tunes in the world and just ruined it.
Yeah, and sang over it.
Yeah,
This is a revelation.
Yeah,
it is.
so that's your homework after this. Straight to YouTube, A-Team French version.
Right. Well, that's ruined
It'll
my
blow.
afternoon.
Yeah, it'll blow your mind and it'll make you angry.
It will. the Y is strong.
Yeah, the Y team.
Yeah,
Y.
yeah, the Y team.
Yeah.
So it's a shame that you're not a band, because it'd be lovely if people could come and see you.
Yeah,
you're
but
clearly
tragically.
tragically not a band.
No.
Could you tell people information about where they can't see you and how they can't find out any more information about your band that doesn't exist?
Okay, sure. The website is notaband.co.uk, which links to all of our socials. We have a few headline shows coming up in Bristol and in Nottingham, and we're also playing about 6 or 7 festivals this summer. Rock the Lakes, Beat Herder, Truck, Tramlines, We Are Love, which is local, that's in Ringmer, and there's another local one which is Good Vibrations, which is Kent. I think most of the other festivals are west or north.
And we're also playing at Worthing, actually.
Oh God, yes.
That
that's the most
late.
important one.
Yeah, that
apart
is
from Diary Head here, yes, that came in very late. Yes, Worthing Festival on the Saturday at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Saturday Worthing Festival, which is the 21st of June.
Lovely.
But that's a shorter set than at the Dad the Soul Live and Loud. So we recommend that the Dad the Soul Live and Loud will be the best show, won't it? I think
it definitely will be.
And then you can come along and just get a little bit of extra the week after in work.
Yeah, if you want to, if God help you, you want some more of this nonsense, then a second helping the following weekend is going on in Worthing. Or if you happen to be at one of these festivals.
And actually, it doesn't get boring to play. These
No,
days.
it really
this
doesn't.
is the thing.
This is the most fun band I've ever played
Yeah,
in.
me too.
And we've played in, well, the first band that we played in the late 90s was signed, and we sort of did quite a lot of stuff then, and that was fun, but this is more fun. This is just insanely good fun. And having played in a lot of bands, I've never quite seen people just having such a good time in the audience. I think it has really hit a good point where people need something really silly at the moment.
I was going to say, you probably don't get many passive audiences. Do you?
No, it's and in all fairness, it's very much a Marmite thing. I think it's people will either love it or they'll walk out. But that's great, because you'd rather that than hundreds of people just sat there with their arms folded, going, "Yeah, it's all right." I'd rather have, the extremes.
Yeah, of course. And then you get your hardcore that are there enjoying it, and yeah, let everyone else go off and do their boring thing.
Yeah, they can go and listen to.
It's weird how it goes down there as well, because we played in Milton Keynes the other day, and it was a pretty great gig anyway. But when we played Baywatch, suddenly loads of people appeared.
Yes,
who were all like in their 20s, and just like
they've been at the other end of the venue.
Yeah.
It's very true, and that kind of almost lottery at shows it's really fun, because you never quite know which is the one that's going to hit it. I mean, you've got a good idea. There's always some real heavy hitters, but who would have thought that Baywatch would be the one that would get the 20-somethings?
And Live and Let Die is another one that unbelievable. I mean, what are we doing?
Why are we playing that song? Why?
But two, the fact that people absolutely love it. They love singing along with that one, because again, everyone knows the wrong words to it.
Yes,
as did we.
The problem is we have now learned the wrong words to loads of things, and I can't get it out of my head.
Sesame Street. If he. One day you might sing it the right lyrics.
Doubt
you never
it.
know.
Yeah, doubt it.
No one wants that. That's no one
No one wants it. No one cares.
I absolutely hate the modern thing of politicians to go, well, I am speaking on behalf of the public. So, but on this occasion, I am speaking on behalf of the public.
Yes, good.
No one wants the right words.
No.
The words they remember.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. And actually, some of them we do simplify, because the bits we remember, there's loads more to the song, but it's like, but no one remembers those lyrics. Let's just do the ones.
Well, that's the
remember.
thing. And now it's 90 minutes. You do have to simplify lyrics when you can. I mean, so you're playing guitar at the same time as singing. I'm playing drums at the same time as singing and triggering samples. There's quite a lot going on. It's
and
like
the visuals too.
And pressing, the visuals as well. So it's try and if you can simplify, because we have bitten off quite a lot here.
A lot more than we can chew.
Quite obviously. And it's a miracle that
it is
that we get to the end of each show. But I think that's also when it can get a bit chaotic and we do the costume changes and change the hats and things, and that's something we're actually working on more for these festival shows, is more costume changes and more silliness. But yeah, it can get a little bit like, is this going to work? Are they going to get to the end of the show? What's going on? And I think that kind of chaos is fun to watch, and it's very on brand. It's
we do play to it, you know. It's not like we're making out we're amazing, and we do get, you know, time of my life. If everyone joins in with that, and again, that one we did at a pub, and all the sort of teenagers were all singing every word. It's like,
wow.
So that obviously crosses over the
yeah,
things.
and
but
it's
it really helps us out because
yes, because it's
we're
really
a bit
surprising
naked
that they buy it, because it's two
much,
blokes singing it, and I'm doing like the female part in falsetto, and we just about get away with it, but that's why we stick it near the end, because hopefully by that point, you know, the people that haven't left in disgust, we've built up a lot of goodwill, and then it gets spent on that.
They're invested, aren't they? They are.
Yeah, they're invested by that point, and we've just been happy that the Brighton show we did the other week, you know, we managed to sell, you know, nearly sell it out. You know, and actually sell tickets and got an agent on board and all of that. So it has, having been doing this, you know, music, that is, for decades, for something, we know we're onto a good thing, because it's come together and been successful as far as it's got very quickly.
And organically, we haven't had to approach anybody.
No, everyone's
agents are all approaching us. So that we've never had before.
No.
But the idea sells itself, because all we have to do is go, oh, we play 80s theme tunes, and everyone goes, great idea, and starts throwing theme tunes at us.
Yeah,
so,
and to which you say, yes,
pitch, isn't it? The elevator pitch. You've got to be able to pitch it within a short amount of time.
Exactly. Well, it's a sentence, and it's a good one. Yeah,
it's too short. Yeah. You know, what do? We stand in the elevator in awkward silence for the rest of it. Yeah.
But they're thinking,
which seems to me very fitting as well, right?
It would be. We're actually playing on Friday. We're playing down in Cornwall on the beach, and the weather might be terrible. And we're actually looking forward to it being terrible, because can you imagine Baywatch on a windswept, raining beach with people in, you know, carry
Pack-a-max?
Yeah.
Just looking absolutely.
We kind of want that more than it to be sunny. Yeah,
we've got loads of festivals in the diary. They don't all have to be successful. Just let's get a nice comedy sketch out of Friday.
Like if Baywatch was set in Britain, I mean, it would be Pack-a-max, and it would be.
It would. We'll watch this space. Hopefully, somebody will film it and post it, or I think we might have a videographer down or something.
Excellent.
But yes, that it's what was it? What did we say earlier? It's either failure through success or success through failure, and either one is
we're fine with either.
Either one will do.
Just roll with it. You don't have a choice, really. Just go with it.
We are looking forward to having you on the 14th of June at Live and Loud. If you want to get tickets to the whole thing, 3 hours of loads of amazing stuff, then it is dadlersoul.com/events. Matt and Jay from Not a Band, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So that's what happened when I met Matt and Jay. They are playing Dadler Souls Live and Loud, which is a week on Saturday at the Amex Stadium in Brighton. And that's going to be sort of a fitting thing to talk about in a minute with our next guest. But first of all, I have to, because after that interview, I did obviously go away and try and find the A-Team in French. And I did find it. And here is the clip of it.
La dernière chance, au dernier moment, les mauvais coups, les truands, l'agence des règles au compte.
I mean, they weren't wrong. That is absolutely abysmal. There's no need for that. Absolutely ruined it. Anyway, this is the Dadler Soul sessions for Thursday, the 5th of June. If you want to come to Live and Loud, our big festival, dadlersoul.com/events. Make sure you go there to get your tickets. And it's time for our last guest of the evening. His name is Phil Hart. He is a dad who took his kids around the country on an FA Cup journey. Phil, how you doing? You all right?
Yeah, hi, Jim. Not too bad. How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. Now, we'd get this out of the way to start with, right? I saw this story. I saw, there's a dad who's taking his kids to every round, from the preliminary round of the FA Cup to the final. And then I realised it was someone I went to school with. Phil, we went to school with each other many years ago.
Yeah, 1990 to 1995. Yeah, it feels like a long time ago. It was a long time ago. Let's not beat around the bush. It was a long time ago. But yeah, small world, hey.
It is. It really is, and that was good because I really needed a guest for tonight, and I thought, that was an in. It's always good to have an in. And I know you, and also, can you do my thing for me, please, as well? But it's a fascinating story. It's an absolutely brilliant story, and the Brighton connection, the Brighton and Hove Albion connection, is sort of important because you've spent a lot of time with Brighton and Hove Albion's bitter rivals over the last few months.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened. What was your initial idea with this FA Cup journey?
Yeah, so my oldest is 13. My middle child is 10. So they're my two boys. And I've got a 5-year-old daughter. And it just occurred to me that time is moving really quickly. And I wanted to do something while they're at that age where they still want to spend time with me, want to hang out with me. And so I thought, let's kind of sort of do this crazy FA Cup journey. It's something that I've had in the back of my mind. I don't know, not most seasons, it sort of pops into my head right at the start of the season, because obviously the EFL, I think, starts like a week or two after the very first FA Cup round. And by that point, you know what it's like as a football fan. You're sick of the closed season, and you just want to be watching live football again. So that was kind of where it started from, I think. And I just wanted them to, I don't know, sort of have something to look back on and sort of remember and talk about with their own children. Now we've completed it, and been to Wembley twice, and they'll always have that, and there'll come a time where they're watching the FA Cup final with their kids or whatever, and they'll say, "Oh, guess what we did with Granddad once." It was creating that memory and something that we can share.
And that's it. You do have to think ahead, don't you? Because the preliminary rounds, I mean, a lot of casual fans might not even realize how many rounds there are before the first round of the FA Cup.
Yeah,
It's a lot, right? There's a good, 4 or 5, is it?
6, I think it is. 6 rounds before you get to the first. Yeah, so you've got the extra preliminary, which people forget to count. Then the preliminary, then the first qualifying, second qualifying, third, fourth. Yeah, so 6 rounds, and then you get the first round proper. It all starts quite early. So you'd had this in your mind. One year, you actually managed to think about it ahead of time. And how did you pick the first team to go and see? Just through the good old A to Z. So we're looking at the fixtures were listed local paper or something, maybe online, and we were going through the A to Z of the fixtures, and we just got to see. And we live in Great Hawksley, just north of Colchester, and Cornard is pretty close. It's up the road. So we said, let's start there. That's as good as any. And I've got to be honest, we were really fortunate with the draws all the way through. There's one particular tie involving Brackley Town and Hartlepool, and we were going to watch the winners of that tie. And they'd drawn at Hartlepool, and they had a replay at Brackley. And I was just willing Brackley to win, because I was looking at Hartlepool, and there's just no easy way to get to Hartlepool from Colchester. We were trying to do as much of it as possible on public transport. I love driving, but if you can do it on a train, so much the better. And yeah, just Hartlepool and back. And then it would have been just our luck that Hartlepool would have won, which might have meant another journey up there again if they got a home tie. So we had all of that stuff kind of in our minds as well. And watching the draw each time was really, really exciting, because we obviously had no idea where we were going to go. So it was, there can't have been many people watching it with that in mind, and watching the draw, thinking, where are we going to be sent? That was a real highlight of the whole thing.
I do remember seeing a few seasons ago, there were some YouTubers who did a thing where they were watching Soccer Saturday. They filmed themselves watching it.
Yeah.
And they said, "We're going for a night out tonight.
in the town that scores the first goal of the
That's right.
season. And it was, unfortunately for them, my team, Scunthorpe, was the first goal. So they had to have a night out in Scunny. Unlucky lads. They made the most of it. So this was it. So when you started it, the rule was basically you'll go and see the first team, Cornard, you go and see them, and then the winner of that tie, you will follow them for the next round, wherever they play. As you say, could be Hartlepool, could be Carlisle, could be Truro, could be wherever.
Yeah. And we got, like I say, we got really lucky. Most of them are fairly local. The only one we had that was tricky. It was when we were following Palace and they got drawn at Doncaster. I think it was the 4th round, and that comes out of the hat, and you think, great, that's not going to be moved to a Thursday, a Friday, a Saturday, a Sunday, or a Monday, because actually there was a point where the games were played over 5 days, and so Donny Palace comes out, and that's only going to appeal to Donny and Palace fans, right? That's not going to get moved for TV coverage. Well, it did. It got moved to a Monday night. So we're then looking at how do we get to Doncaster on a Monday night, but how do we get back? So I said, right, I'm going to drive this one, and driving to Donny and back on a Monday night and getting back at whatever time was the plan. And then on the Friday before, the car we were going to take decided to break down randomly. It started up again absolutely fine, but it came up with a warning message, which went away again. And I thought, I can't take the car now because I can't trust it. So we ended up getting the train to Doncaster, and we left with about 10 minutes of the game to go, just to make sure that we made that last train back, the last train back to London, and then the connecting one to Colchester. Got back about 2 a.m. in the end.
Oh, my goodness. That's it. And the kids obviously have school and there's work, and oh my goodness. And I noticed you had like a few around, then you got back to Braintree as well. That must have been quite a happy one.
Yeah, of course. As you know, being an ex-Colchester boy yourself, Braintree's just up the road. So, but a mistake that I made with that, and apologies if any Braintree fans hear this, but this is one of my biggest clangers of the whole tour. We thought, great, Braintree are at Brackley. Braintree's really close. Let's see if we can go on the supporters bus. My boys and I, being Colchester fans, we travel on the supporters bus from time to time to away games with Colchester. The supporters bus is full of old people. It stops every so often for whatever. And we thought, it'd be great. We're one of the first ones on there. It's a double-decker coach. I let the boys choose where they wanted to sit, and we plonked ourselves down in the middle of this upper deck on this two-level coach, thinking, right, this is gonna be a nice genteel drive up to Brackley and back. It wasn't. The people that got on after us, all about 16, 17, 18, all with loads of alcohol on them. The first thing one of them did, this is about like 10 in the morning. The first thing they did was knock over a can of Stella, which flooded the upstairs of the bus with Stella. One of them had a litre of rum under his arm. They had 2 Bluetooth speakers playing different songs.
Oh, good. Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
And it was just horrendous. Nothing. The lads were just doing what we would have done at their age, and they were having a great time. Nothing against the lads. It just wasn't the environment for 2 small boys.
No, who knew that Braintree had ultras? And I mean, it's I'd never have expected it.
No.
Early on, I guess you're going to those games, and they're very small games, very small teams, and I'm assuming Brackley against Braintree wasn't a sellout. I'm assuming the tickets were fairly easy to get.
Yeah, that's fair to say. I think it's. Yeah, I think the first attendance we went to at Cornard, I think was 51. When there's so few people there, you can physically count them. So 51 people and a dog, I think we counted as well, all the way up to obviously 84,000 at Wembley. But most of the time the tickets weren't too difficult to get. And again, that's another part of the luck that we had on this journey. We hooked into Palace right from the 3rd round. We were supporting Stockport in the 3rd round at Palace. Palace brushed them aside quite easily, 2-0. And from that moment on, we followed Palace all the way, obviously, to the final and then winning it. If it had been a big club, and again, no offense to any Palace fans, but a big Premier League club that that have your sort of waiting list for season ticket holders and whatever, we might have struggled. But Palace having a capacity of 25,000 obviously puts a limit on how many season ticket holders they've got anyway. So when it gets to Wembley and they've got 40,000 tickets for sale, they're not going to buy up all of those because they've only got 24,000 season ticket holders. So we were quite lucky. We had someone in their ticket office who was also helping us out, and he got us our tickets for every round right up until the final. And he said, "Look, I'd love to be able to help you this time, but you've got to understand, I can't give you 3 tickets and sort of disregard three actual Palace fans," which was fair enough.
Although, to be honest, by that point, as you say, they only have like 24,000 regular fans. You'd probably been to more Palace games that season than some of the armchair fans that wanted to go to the final. So you'd probably been a bigger supporter.
Yeah, this is it. And the fact that we've been to every round of the cup, every Palace FA Cup game as well, including the one, yes, we were in the away end at Palace v Stockport, but we'd actually seen every game that Palace have been in all the way through. So yeah, I was on their Facebook pages and whatever, and there were people complaining they couldn't get tickets. And yeah, again, we were lucky. We got picked up by the Sun newspaper. And I'll come back to the dilemma that I had here in a bit. But when because every time we got a new club, I'd go on the club's Facebook page and introduce ourselves and say, "Hi, this is what we're doing. This is where we've been so far, blah, blah, blah." And there was a Sun journalist who was a Stockport fan, and he saw our story on the Stockport Facebook page, and then got in touch with me and said, like, we'd like to do like to cover your story. And I was torn down the middle because it's the Sun. And I'm a football fan. I was watching, Hillsborough on that awful day in '86, and I was massively torn. I contacted quite a few of my friends and saying, "Look, I've got this journalist who wants to cover us. It's the Sun. I've got my morals, but all of them said, look, it's for your children. If at some point they help you get tickets, for the final or the semi or whatever, then that's your payoff." It's so eventually, I went back to him and said, "Yeah, let's do something." And it was him. It was the Sun journalist that managed to get onto the FA for the final, and that's how we got tickets for the final.
I was going to say, because to have got all that way through the whole tournament, to have got to have followed the team as well from the third round up until the final, and then not been able to have gone would have been absolutely disastrous. But the FA were quite quiet about it. They weren't as helpful as maybe they could have been. Maybe
they're a difficult organisation to get in touch with. They really are. They've got contact channels, of course, but they don't respond to anything on Twitter or X. Sorry, I can't get used to calling it X. I was copying in their official channels and whatever, and not even so much as I like, let alone anything else. And I know we're not the first people to have done this. So I know that. So it's not something that's brand new and original and whatever. Other people have done it before us. So we're not special in that regard. But to have zero sort of comeback from the FA at all, I thought was really something. But look, they came good at the end, and they sorted us out with our tickets, and they gave them to us for free as well for the final, which was great.
Oh, there you go. That's the Hollywood ending, isn't it? Then you've got the you managed to get that in the end. I'd not really thought about how. Yeah, you need to get that stroke of luck of having a team that's big but not too big, and then to have followed, for that team that's big but not too big to have then gone and actually won the competition is just, perfect.
For the first time in their history, 120 years history. And we were there. We were there to to witness it, and that on its own, just felt really special. I think if Palace had lost to Villa in the semi-final, then we would have then been supporting Villa in the final, obviously, and we just wouldn't have had that same sort of connection as we did with Palace. And I think now we'll always be kind of sort of supporters or fans of Palace by proxy. I think we'll always keep an eye out on their results now, and even said to the boys, maybe we can pop along to Selhurst Park and take in some Premier League games as well. It was just a superb thing to complete, and for the final, I'd put some money aside, which I was willing to spend, some stupid amount of money on tickets, and then for it to fall into our lap for nothing was great.
Brilliant. Best game that you saw during the whole run?
Stockport v Brackley, I think, because I think that's the one that I would say was a good old fashioned cup tie. The Brackley fans were amazing. They were really interested in what we were doing. They were really chatty and genuinely involved in sort of what we were trying to do and supportive of that. But the game itself, I think Stockport went 2 goals up really quickly, to the point where a Brackley fan next to me, who was slightly worse for wear, put £500 on Stockport to win by 5 goals or more, and he was so confident. And of course, I think it came out as 2-1 in the end. So so it's a bit of a double. That's why I never bet on Colchester games, because you can't lose twice. You can't lose. But no, when they pulled one back, if you haven't seen it, it's a really funny back pass. Their right back, the Stockport right back, knocks it back to the keeper, who looks like he can get there, and he just makes no effort at all. He's kind of running in quicksand, and the ball sort of just bumps over the line. And then Brackley then just threw the kitchen sink at it. And I finished 3-1. That was it, because Stockport scored a late one, which just sealed the win. But they gave it a really good go, and they had a goal disallowed, which would have made it 2-2. And I was celebrating that goal as hard as I support any Colchester goal. And it was, you really get swept up in it. When you're there and you're surrounded by the fans that are there for because that's their team. You do find yourself kind of sort of singing along and willing that team to win.
Brilliant. I love it. Yeah, that's the thing. There's never a game where you're a neutral, is there? There's always a game where you've got some inkling and somewhere, and there's something, and then when there's a crowd behind you, I mean, that Brackley fan's ridiculous. I've seen Brackley a few times the last few seasons, because we've seemed to play them every other week. And I've never seen them look anything. I don't think I've ever seen them look like they'd concede more than 1. So I don't think he could have seen them concede 5 ever. That was a ridiculous bet.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like 2-0 after like 14 minutes or something like that. So yeah, it for all intents and purposes, it looked like it was going to be a landslide. But I don't think he'd have got good odds on it at that time either. Because if you've had 2 goals in 14 minutes, the bookies are thinking, right, we're going to have a few goals here. But look, he seemed pretty happy throughout. He didn't look like he was going to chuck himself over the edge or anything like that. So yeah, all was good.
What a thing for your boys to have enjoyed as well, because you've seen everything. You've seen the whole gamut of English football there, haven't you? From the amateurs, the one step up from the pub teams, basically, up until the Wembley final, the fans, the different types of fans, the different celebrations, the spilt Stella on the bus and everything. I mean, they've just had that encapsulated in one season. How are they feeling at the end of the season? Yeah,
I think I had to kind of almost sort of remind them that what we were doing wasn't normal. This because they're children, and children are egocentric just because they're children, aren't they? And their world is kind of just the world. And I said I had to remind them that actually what we were doing was really, really extraordinary, and it was something that was really special, because I didn't want them thinking, this is something that, I don't know, almost that we're going to do it every year or something like that. And so, but I think they've taken that on board. Right. And my oldest made he'd done some little bits of filming on his phone as kids do, and he made like a video compilation of the photos, and he'd also snipped some some commentary as well from the BBC website or whatever, and he stitched it all together and made this really effective video. And then at the end, because we'd gone on BBC Essex to talk about this after the final, and he'd taken a quote that I'd said, something about, because the host of the show asked about how much money I'd spent, and I said I don't really want to work it out, to be honest, but money comes and goes, but the memories will last forever. And he quoted that, and he put it in like funky text and whatever kids do, and it just caught me out, and I was looking at it, and it proper choked me up, because I just wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting that sort of, the fact that he had grasped what I was trying to do in the first place. I hadn't sort of said, you will remember this. I hadn't driven it home, but the fact that that he'd kind of picked up on it, and he'd understood that actually maybe they had done something that was really, really special, and something that they are going to keep with them.
That's amazing. That's absolutely brilliant, and you can't ask for anything more. It's been, and that couldn't have gone better, right? Any of that, I don't think. To have that reaction as well at the end of what was an amazing journey is it's very heartwarming, isn't it? We don't normally get heartwarming. It's normally some stupid jokes, but for this occasion, we'll go with heartwarming, right?
Yeah.
Phil, thank you so much for coming on. What a story! It's just absolutely fascinating, and really good to have you on. And maybe see you again in another 25 years or whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah.
30, it's 2030, isn't it? Jeez.
We'll have a Gilbert School retirement party, something like that. How about that?
Oh my God, I feel so old. Phil, it's been really lovely to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you as well. Cheers, Jim.
And that is it. That is the Dadler Soul sessions for June 2025. We'll be back next month with more guests, more entertainment, more stuff going on. Don't forget, get your tickets for Live and Loud, which is the 3-hour festival of fatherhood, funk and foolishness at the Amex Stadium in Brighton, which is happening on the 14th of June, the day before Father's Day. It's for dads and stepdads, granddads, male carers, and their children to come along, up to teenagers, sort of 13, 14 maybe. And it should be